Hello and welcome to the session, everybody. In the interest of time, we're going to go ahead and jump right in and get started. So with that being said, I'm pleased to announce Maisha Cannon from Procore to the stage. Maisha, thank you again for being here today. I'm very much looking forward to hearing more about how you can teach us more about how teams can optimize outreach using GEM. And with that said, I'll hand it over to you so you can get started with the session.
Thanks, Ani. I appreciate it. Have you heard about the recruiter Honeypot experiment? As the story goes, Elaine Wary, co-founder of Meebo, created a fictitious LinkedIn profile in 2010 to attract technical recruiters to her growing startup. In the 3 years following the LinkedIn debut of Pete London, the imaginary engineer created by Elaine, she received over 530 messages from eager recruiters and sourcers attempting to recruit Pete for their open roles. Out of 500 messages, only 5 messages left an impression that caused them to stand out from the rest. Those 5 recruiters' unique approach and authentic voice allow their messages to rise above the remaining 98.7% of email that could easily be categorized as recruiter spam. So how do you ensure your messages stand out from the rest? Welcome to Crafting Compelling Messages That Wow, 3 Steps to Optimizing Outreach with GEM. My name is Maisha Cannon, and I'm an inquisitive introvert, a people connector, and as evidenced by these pictures, a lover of recruiting and sourcing conferences. I like to say that I've been working in talent acquisition since it was called human resources way back in the 1900s. 1994 BG to be precise. That's before Google, if you can even imagine such a time. Now, over the years, I've worked as a recruiting coordinator, a full cycle recruiter, and a dedicated sourcer. My passion is helping talent teams work smarter by leveraging competence, curiosity, and creativity. In the next 27 minutes, my goal is to share information, engage you in conversation, and spark a transformation in the way you think about recruiting and sourcing outreach. Now, as we move through today's session, I've built in opportunities for you to share your insights. That's because the collective knowledge and experience in this virtual room far exceeds my own, and I'd like to leverage that while we're here together. I'll be keeping my eyes on the chat, so please hop in at any time with questions or insights. Now, at the end of our time together, I do have a gift for you just to say thank you for your participation and your presence today. It's the Outreach Swag Bag. It's a digital download that will contain the slides from today's session and over 20 resources that I've curated to support what we'll cover today. There will also be giveaways, so be ready to hop into chat for your chance to win one of 7 prizes this session. Yes, 7 in the next 26 minutes. So we'll begin by exploring the idea of making our outreach data-driven to ensure that we're engaging prospects with precision. Then we'll discuss how to make our outreach more impactful. Lastly, we'll talk about how we can make our messages more memorable by emphasizing human-to-human connection. Are you ready? Let's optimize our outreach with GEM. Data rules everything around me. Dream, get the data. Drop a W in the chat if you caught that musical reference. When we begin to think, or should I say dream about data, we should keep this acronym in mind. But let's refine it just a tad. Data rules everything around messaging. And just like America's Got Talent, GEM's got data. Whether you're looking to GEM's white papers, webinars, or their general web presence, you'll find a variety of rich resources that will inform your messaging strategy. And it includes everything from the best times of day to send emails to optimal ways to customize your messages. This data is available to help you yield a strong return on your investment. Now, I sent my first 3-stage sequence in GEM back in 2018. Immediately, I realized that sending messages in Gym was different from the tools that I'd used over the years that only showed me my response rate. In addition to the stats you see on your screen, Gym even shows me how many times my messages were opened. I still chuckle at the thought of someone opening my message 30 times and never replying. Guess my message was intriguing, but not intriguing enough. These detailed insights help talent teams understand how their messaging is performing and allows you to see more clearly into your areas of opportunity. Another feature I really like is the ability to download CSVs. I initially built out a process for my team called a deep data dive, where we'd export CSVs from our projects every 75 to 100 leads, and then we'd manually review, sort, refine, filter, and analyze. This manual process is now obsolete thanks to Jim's outreach stats. Now I can do in less than a minute what used to take me 60 minutes or more. I simply go into my project, click View Stats, and then group by either company or location to help me iterate on my search parameters. The final feature I'll highlight is Content Stats. Content Stats aggregates every link and sequences across your team's entire gym instance. Before this feature, I had to go through a manual process of using a link shortening tool called Bitly, and then manually type it in to view the number of hits on my links from month to month. What a wonderful treat to have all of this information at my fingertips. So we've covered making our outreach more data driven, and now it's time for our first giveaway. For each of our giveaways today, we're going to do something called a 60-second share. This gives you an opportunity to share your knowledge with a larger group and increase your learnings. All of today's winners will be announced in chat, and I'll use this format with the hashtags surrounding the winner's name. For our first 60-second share, head over to chat and answer this question. All right. Thank you to everyone who participated in this first 60-second share. Again, I will announce the winner in chat for each of our giveaways today. So if you see your name surrounded by hashtags, this is how you'll claim your prize. Gym users, just add me to Gym and email me. And if you're not using Gym yet, find me on LinkedIn and message me by the end of the day. We have 6 more giveaways this session, so continue to participate in chat for your chance to win an e-gift card. Now, I love using Gym, so I have a few bonus features that I'm calling fun facets of Gym that I'm including today just to complement your sourcing efforts. If you're using the Gym Calendly integration, drop the number 3 in the chat. Threes in the chat, threes in the chat. Now, as you know, when you send a sequence through Gym, it'll stop when the recipient directly replies to your message. If you're sending a Calendly link in your message, the prospect doesn't need to respond, as your Calendly link was the clear call to action. This integration marks the candidate as booked when someone schedules on your Calendly link. And you can see this right from your sequences at a glance. I recently noticed that Jim is using AI to set reply status for certain messages. I'm really excited to see what new features are coming related to AI technology. So we've talked about making our data-driven outreach more substantive. Now let's consider how to make our messages more impactful. Do you recognize this? Drop your guess in the chat if so. Before the days of Napster, Shazam, Songza, Pandora, iTunes, Spotify, and Tidal, some of us listen to music on relics like this. Yes, it is a radio. And you had to tune into a station on the AM or FM dial to receive a clear signal. In the same way, when you reach out to people that you've identified through your time intensive efforts, you need to tune into the right station to connect with them. You know what station they're listening to, right? They'll be listening to We FM on the radio dial. What's in it for me? This is the question that your intended recipient will be asking themselves when they receive your message in their already overflowing inbox. Now, as you consider how you will create compelling content for your intended audience, here are 3 features in Gem that can help you automate the small stuff and free up your time to get creative with messaging. Simplify your outreach workflow by setting up a default sequence in your project. Then, when you add someone to a project, the message is sent automatically. When Gem started back in 2017, its primary appeal for me were the automated drip email campaigns, the ones marketers had access to for years, but that never made their way to talent acquisition. So at the time, my outreach templates lived in another software tool. The idea of starting from scratch discouraged me from diving into Gem. The solution to my issue came during a chat with one of my teammates, Terry, who was an early adopter of Gem. She heard my concerns and then said, "Oh, you can clone my sequences, right?" Game changer. Now, cloning sequences is my recommended best practice when I onboard new users to Gem. If your team isn't strategically sharing sequences with high open and response rates on your shared dashboard, why not consider it? Sending as your hiring manager has been shown to double response rates for outbound email sequences. Who else, other than a hiring manager, might it be beneficial to send a message as? Hop into chat. I'm curious to know how you're thinking about this. You can check out the swag bag for options that Gem provides when you're sending as someone else. Now, we breezed through these features, so it's time for our second 60-second share. Remember, you can't win if you don't hop in. So here's your question. Hop into chat with your thoughts on this topic. All right. So thank you for participating. There'll be 2 winners from this round. So keep your eyes on the chat. And if you see your name surrounded by hashtags, reach out to me by end of day. Of course, I'm keeping track of your name. So if I don't hear from you, you'll hear from me. Do you typically add prospects to Gem from LinkedIn? Did you know that you could add from anywhere using the Gem Chrome extension? Check out your swag bag for more information on this really cool feature. When was the last time you had to quickly establish rapport with a complete stranger? As a retail recruiter with Hot Topic and Torrid back in 2005, sourcing involved me walking into the stores of our competitors in shopping malls across the United States and recruiting store managers right out of the store. Depending on how busy the store was, I may have had as little as 90 seconds to establish rapport and get to my call to action, which typically was, want to meet me in Starbucks on your lunch break for an interview? Please. Nowadays, I strive to make that same quick human connection, but over email. You only need to give your prospect one reason to reply to your message. To illustrate this, I started on this LinkedIn profile, which belongs to Gina on the marketing events team at Gym. Thank you to Gina, the marketing team at Gym, and really all the gyms for helping me prepare for today's event and also just for being hospitable and gracious every time we interact. I appreciate you. So I wanted to find something really interesting on Gina's profile that could stand out in an outreach message to her. And when I scrolled down to the very bottom, I noticed one of her interests was Ariana Huffington. Jim's data shows that highly personalized messages saw a 73% engagement rate. And Jim recommends we include one or two details unique to the prospect in our opening paragraph. So after adding Gina to Jim with one click, I scrolled all the way down to the bottom of the Gym sidebar and found the reason box. There, I entered a few sentences that I hope will resonate with her. In my sequence, I use this reason token as the first sentence. So I've already covered those two unique details in my custom subject line and in the first line of the message. I thought about Gina possibly checking this message on her mobile phone and having a preview of the message, so she'll know this is not your ordinary recruiter outreach. So how'd I do, Gina? Would you respond to my message? Don't answer that. Keep experimenting with personalization, both at scale with tokens and in a more focused way for highly sought after talent. It'll deliver terrific ROI for you. Speaking of experimentation, are you curious to know what's working and what needs work in your messaging strategy? A/B testing helps you get insights into your outreach so you can improve your outcomes. Here I'm comparing two types of outreach strategies to see which one yields the greatest impact for a particular role. With one candidate, I'm trying this email phone call sandwich with email, phone, email touches. And with the other candidate, I'm trying an approach where I try 4 different modalities: email through Gym, and then manually logging my social media outreach in Gym, and then finally ending with a custom video from our team. You can come up with numerous ways to A/B test, whether you're comparing content, outreach mediums, the time of day and the days you send the message, you name it. The choice is yours. Whatever you decide, know that Gym's analytics will support your efforts. There's an article about A/B testing from Gym's help page in your swag bag if you're curious to learn more. All right, pop quiz, 15 seconds, no Googling, A, B, C, or D in the chat. Go. All right. If you guessed D, you were correct. Now, in the recruiter honeypot experiment that I shared with you earlier, fictitious engineer Pete London received over 500 emails, and 63% of the emails looked fairly identical. Fairly identical? With 170,000 words in the English lexicon? How were recruiters and sourcers from different companies, geographies, with different lived experiences and personalities writing such similar messages? That got me wondering. So, for our final 60-second share today, I'd like you to write an opening sentence for an email that you will send to a prospective candidate. But there's a catch. You cannot use these 6 off-limit words. These were the overused words in the honeypot experiment. This time I'll be giving away 3 gift cards. So you have to hop in and chat to win. Your sentence doesn't have to be perfect. It's 60 seconds after all. It just has to follow the guideline. Are you clear on your mission? Get started. All right, fantastic work. So check the chat, and if you see your name, you are one of 3 winners this round. Well done for stepping outside of your comfort zone to do that activity. Now, I also shared the sentences that I came up with you in the swag bag, so you can review these in more detail once you get the download later today. Now, for the last fun facet, I'm saving the best for last. You can streamline your workflow and scale by adding 25 prospects at a time from LinkedIn to Gym. I recorded a 5-minute tutorial and I put it in your swag bag to walk you through this feature and give you some insights if it's your first time using it. Now, anytime I've mentioned this feature to recruiters and sources over the past 60 days, I've been met with a happy dance. So I'm curious, did you know about this feature? Drop a 7 in the chat if you've been using this feature, and drop an 8 if you're like, what? Mind blown emoji. So for the final chat exercise today, I'm curious to know, what are you taking away from today's session? You have 30 seconds to complete this statement, and I'll be selecting our final gift card winner from the chat. All right, 10 more seconds. All right, fantastic. Thank you to everyone who participated in chat today. And congratulations if you're our last winner of the day. If you didn't win one of our 7 giveaways, hang tight because we still have that outreach swag bag coming up and you won't want to miss it. So let's review what we've covered. In reverse order, we explored how using our unique voices and connecting on a human level can make our message much more memorable. And then we talked about tuning into the right station, WeFM, to make your message more impactful. We started off with a reminder that data rules everything around messaging. So I'll leave you with a challenge. Select one role on your desk and review the outreach for that role. Ask yourself these 3 questions. Is it data driven? Is it impactful? And how can I make it memorable? If you're willing to accept this challenge, type the number 10 in the chat as your way of saying, I'm in, I accept. All right, fantastic. So here is your gift for being present today. I'm going to drop the link in the chat, and you can also take a screenshot or just jot it down. And in this digital PDF, you'll find the slides from today's session, as well as links to the resources that I've referenced today. The link will be active for the next 30 days. So download, share with your teammates, and enjoy. It's been so much fun spending the past half hour with you. I want to wish you the best as you strive to create compelling messaging by optimizing your outreach efforts with Jim. Feel free to get connected on social media, and I look forward to seeing you in other sessions today Here's the Gym Talent Summit. Happy sourcing.